So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 trolls within Call of Duty Zombies. This time just sticking to the Treyarch games, so from World at War all the way through the Black Ops series to Call of Duty Vanguard. There are so many trolls within Zombies. I suppose that also depends on what you would dictate to be a troll or a joke that the developers Treyarch have played on you. For example, new players might think that a jump scare is a troll, but if you've been playing the game for a long time and you expect them by now, then perhaps not. I would say in the very early days, specifically the Mob of the Dead jump scare and perhaps the Origins one, you could have classed them as Treyarch trolling us, but now I wouldn't say so. However, there are still so many instances in Zombies where Treyarch have got us, so let's take a look. Coming in at number 10, we have Mule Kick and PhD Flopper in Mob of the Dead. Two perks, especially Mule Kick, that we've had in Zombies for such a long time and that I would class as essentials. Personally, I don't really get Mule Kick. I've never been too bothered about having 3 weapons, even in Black Ops Cold War where you can have unlimited perks. I still don't really buy it because sometimes rotating between 3 weapons instead of 2 ends up getting me downed because of the longer time it takes to get to the weapon that you might want, but it's still a top tier perk. PhD Flopper on the other hand was still pretty new, having been introduced in the game prior Ascension, but still both of these perks were very good, and at the time when Mob of the Dead came out and everybody was playing Black Ops 2, we wanted these perks in the game. We wanted Mule Kick in every map, and we especially wanted PhD. However, in Mob of the Dead, instead of giving them to us, Treyarch decided to troll us. On the docks outside, you will find both PhD and Mule Kick just lying on their sides against boxes. They are turned off, they are unobtainable, you can't reach them, you can't get to this location. So this was basically Treyarch teasing us, saying, look, here are these 2 perks that aren't on the map. You aren't able to get them, but you can look at them from a distance. And what made it even worse was the fact that these perks actually were on Mob of the Dead, but only available in the game mode Cell Block, which was essentially grief. So you could get these perks in the multiplayer portion of Mob, but not if you just wanted to play the map normally. To be honest, still for me, Mule Kick I don't use, but PhD Flopper on Cell Block was good because of all of the different levels that you have on Mob of the Dead, the different cell blocks and stairs. It really does come in handy for dolphin diving off ledges, but also its other abilities protecting you against explosive damage. Yeah, this was a real mean troll from Treyarch, because they knew that not only would these be perks that we'd want, but they'd be useful as well. Coming in at number 9, I mentioned jump scares in the intro, how they're not really trolls anymore because we expect them, but this one was, and it was one of the later jump scares that we got that we could find in Black Ops 4's Classified. It's unlike any of the others in the game. It's not scary, it's actually, I would say, quite funny, which was an image of Primus Richtofen from the PlayStation 3/Xbox 360 version of BO3. If you just aim your sniper scope at this area on this building in Groom Lake, you get this. Now, the reason why this was so funny, if you haven't got it already, was because the 360 and PS3 version of Richtofen at that time was a meme, because if you compared the graphics of BO3 Zombies on the older consoles to the latest ones, so the 360 to the Xbox One or the PS3 to the PS4, there is a massive difference in graphics. And if you look at Richtofen, especially this image of him, it was hilarious how bad the graphics were. The Xbox 360 version of Shadows of Evil compared to the Xbox One version, there was such a huge gap, and Richtofen's face on it, well, how does it look like this? So before this jump scare was even a thing, this image of the 360 version of Richtofen became a meme because of how bad it looked, and because of that, years later, when BO4 released, Treyarch added this Easter egg to Classified where 360 Richtofen was that scary that he was made into a jump scare. Coming in at number 8 are the monkeys on Shangri-La. Now, I would say this one is a little bit less of a troll and just something that's more unfortunate, but if you've ever played Shang, you will know on that map, whenever you get a power-up, so something like a max ammo or a nuke, the monkeys on that map will then attempt to steal it before you pick it up. And if they do, they will carry the power-up on their back as they make their way to the main stairs, but as they're doing so, the power-up will change. So, for instance, maybe you got a max ammo, you were about to pick it up but the monkeys get it before you, the perk then begins to change, and you shoot the monkey to get the power-up back, but that max ammo ends up changing into something like a carpenter. which obviously is nowhere near as good. This can also work in your favor. You might originally get a nuke power up, but maybe you don't want to kill all of these zombies on the map. So you want that power up to change into something else, and the monkeys might turn it into a double point, for example. So this feature can be an advantage to you, but if a power up dropped that you wanted and the monkeys changed it into something that you didn't want, or even worse, they end up escaping with that power up, so you get nothing at all. I can't say how many times I've been trolled by them where I get something I didn't want, or they just steal my power up altogether. Number 7 for me is when you get a power up on the bus in transit and the bus keeps moving and the perk stays stationary on the ground. Meaning if you're not quick enough, and I realise I keep calling power-ups perks here, I mean power-ups, but if you don't pick it up quick enough, the bus keeps moving and the power-up stays where it is. To be honest, what's even worse than this sometimes is when you're shooting these zombies out of the bus as you're moving and a power-up ends up dropping and you just see it in the distance as the bus keeps going. The power-up slowly fades away as you get further from it. I can't say how many times I've killed a zombie outside of the bus and then a max ammo spawns and I'm like, I'm not going to get another one now for a long time. I can't jump off the bus because we're in the middle of the fog and the denizens are going to get me. This is so annoying. It would have been great if power-ups actually stayed on the bus as it was moving, but they don't. Number 6 is the QED. I feel like this is still such an underrated device in zombies, if that's what we're going to call it. If for some reason you don't know what the QED is, it stands for the Quantum Entanglement Device, and it's only usable on the map Moon. It's like a random grenade, I would say. Whenever you throw it, it creates different outcomes. There are loads of different effects. It can give you extra weapons, it can give you perks, spawn in more enemies, or you can be trolled and it can reset your points. It can cause an explosion that's identical to that of the astronaut zombie. It can turn into a ray gun and then fire in circles. And talking about that ability, as you can see from this player here, they threw the QED, they didn't know what it was going to turn into. It spawned as a ray gun, started shooting everywhere, and ended up downing the player that threw it in the first place. The splash damage from the ray gun downed him. Another one of its abilities is you throw it and it turns into sort of a Matryoshka doll, causing loads of explosions. Again, since you don't know what it's going to be, this player threw it, it started to explode everywhere and downed him, causing the game to end. Fortunately, they were only on round 9, but it's a 50-50 what you're going to get with this thing. And when you're in possession of a weapon that has the ability to kill you, end your game, it can be really annoying. It can also be useful. It can revive teammates as well as downing players. But yeah, the QED I would say is almost the ultimate troll device. What I would place at number 1 for number 5 on this list is the EMP grenades. These first made an appearance in Black Ops 2 on Transit, and I'm 100% sure Treyarch just added these into the game to troll us anyway, but they can be useful, because depending on what mode you're playing, just normal zombies or a game mode such as Grief, the EMP grenades can affect both the undead and players. So if you throw an EMP grenade at zombies, the blast will pacify them and they'll either stand still or just move slowly. But if you get hit by an EMP grenade, maybe you accidentally end up throwing it at yourself, it can disable your HUD. Any opticals that you have on your guns will be nullified. If you use it whilst you're near the mystery box or the pack-a-punch machine, it will abruptly stop both of them, so you won't be able to open the box or upgrade your weapon. If you throw it near perk machines, it's going to disable them momentarily. So just personally for me, whenever I played BO2, I tried to stay as far away from these as possible. Yes, having these zombies stand still was good, but the amount of times I was in its blast radius and ended up getting affected as well was not only annoying, but got me down quite a bit. So I think these were added into the game just to troll us anyway. Coming in at number 4 is when the robot in Origin steps on you. This is really just unfortunate, and if this does happen, you should be quite embarrassed because these are 1,000 foot tall robots. There are 3 of them. They're pretty hard to miss, but it can happen if you're facing the other way, you're not paying attention, or you're getting cornered by the zombies and you have no other option other than to run into the robot's footstep. It's either face the consequences of that or getting downed by the undead. Yeah, if this has happened to you, just don't tell anyone, keep it to yourself. Number 3, I wouldn't say this one is really a troll. In the earlier days I considered it to be, but it's when the teddy bear appears in the mystery box. Now, if you didn't get your points back whenever the bear appeared, yeah, this might be number 1. But what is slightly annoying about it is that that's the indicator that the box is about to move. There have been countless points where I've needed a weapon from the box really desperately because I'm out of ammo, and then all of a sudden the bear appears, the box moves, and I don't get a weapon, and now I'm left with no ammo in the one that I've got. That is frustrating. but at least you do get your points back, and the box spawns in again not long after, just somewhere else. If it's a big map, maybe like Origins, and the box spawns at the other side, yeah, really? But honestly, it's not the worst out of the bunch. Back to transit for number 2 is when Ted kicks you off the bus. If you harass the bus driver by knifing him or shooting him too much, eventually he will get angry, his eyes will turn red, and he will open the doors, rock the bus, and attempt to eject you from it. So that's the first thing, but if that doesn't happen, then he will close the doors altogether. Meaning if you're outside of the bus, then good luck getting back in. Unless you're playing co-op and one of your friends is trolling you, or they don't know better and just keep annoying Ted, then you've brought this to yourself anyway. Look Ted, I'll let you off because you're a funny guy, but come on man. And in at number 1 is the best troll we've ever had in COD Zombies, and that's PhD Flopper in Die Rise. Imagine a map so perfect for PhD, a map that has multiple different levels, a map that's extremely easy to fall from. There is one perk in Zombies that prevents you from taking fall damage, PhD Flopper. Surely it would make sense to have that perk within Die Rise. We've all fallen to our deaths in this map. We've all taken fall damage, so, you know, Treyarch could be there like, yeah, this would be the perfect perk. But what if we trolled the players instead? We showed it in the map, we just didn't allow them to buy it. And that's exactly what Treyarch did. And what's even worse is you see it as soon as you spawn into the game. You go into the elevator, it drops down, and then in one of the hallways, you have to be very quick to see this. There it is, PhD Flopper. You can't get to it, but it's just there. You're thinking, if only I had this perk. I delete it from every other map just to have it in Die Rise. Treyarch knew this was the perfect map to have this perk on. It would save so many deaths. At the same time, it'd probably make the map a lot easier. Instead, they decided to just tease us, troll us, say, look, I'm over here, come and get me, but you can't. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.